Coming up on WTOL 11 News, new information is coming out in court about the disturbing history of threats and abuse before the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe in Columbus. Plus, a horror-themed festival we first told you about yesterday turned into a vendor's worst nightmare. After hours of travel and paying fees, dozens were left in the cold. And officials and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine are becoming increasingly concerned about the possibility of ICE coming to a city in Ohio. His statements and the details coming up. Welcome into WTOL 11 News at 6. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you for joining us on your Saturday evening. Now we'll get to all those stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's bring in meteorologist John Birchfield. John, it's still chilly today, but it's good to see the sun. Felt a little more comfortable out there. Is this going to continue into the work week?
No, not as much sun tomorrow, Michael. In fact, we're going to be seeing a little bit of light snow that moves through the area. Hardly any accumulation, with just a dusting to up to 1/2 of an inch, with some light snow showers, mainly from the morning through about the middle part of the day. There has been a little more cloud cover roll on through. Hope you enjoyed the sunshine today. It did make a big difference, and we finally reached the 20s, and that officially makes it our warmest, I know it doesn't sound warm, but warmest day since January 22nd. We went 9 consecutive days with highs shy of 20 degrees and officially made it up to 24 today. Some spots are still in the 20s, including Toledo up towards Williams and Hillsdale counties that are both in the 20s. That Arctic high pressure system departing off to New England. I have my sights to the west of us back towards Illinois as some snow showers develop. A quick moving warm front is going to usher in some light snow right around daybreak Monday morning. It is going to be dry for the rest of the evening. Clouds start to move in from the west by about 6 o'clock a.m. Areas right along the Indiana-Ohio state line begin to see some light snow 8 to 9 a.m. that enters into the Toledo metro. I'm going to break down how much snow you can expect, and also we're keeping an eye on a system Friday. I'll have more on that in my 10-day forecast. Michael.
All right, John, we'll see you then. A Toledo woman has been arrested after police say she killed an 82-year-old woman with her car last July. 56-year-old Tammy Rideau faces charges including aggravated vehicular homicide following that fatal incident. Police say on July 7th, Doris Kruger failed to stop at a stop sign on Glen Street while pulling onto Secor and was struck by Rideau's car. Kruger was pronounced dead at the scene. According to data from Rideau's vehicle, she accelerated her car's speed 5 seconds before the crash from 64 to 76 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Rideau was released on her own recognizance and has a court appearance tomorrow at 9 a.m. Toledo police are searching for a person that hit a woman in West Toledo with their car early this morning. According to a press release from TPD, 23-year-old Abriana Hackett was trying to de-escalate a situation that started at a bar on West Sylvania Avenue and ended in the intersection of West Sylvania and Hearthstone Place. As Hackett was walking away, she was hit by a gray or silver SUV. She was taken to the hospital with what police are calling non-life-threatening injuries. If you know anything about this, call or text Crime Stoppers at 419-255-1111. An ice fisherman went into cardiac arrest this morning at a mile and a half off of Catawba Island. The incident happened around 10 a.m. south of South Bass Island near Put-in Bay. GPS was used to identify the location where rescue was needed. A U.S. Coast Guard chopper was requested and CPR was administered on site. The individual was taken to a hospital in Port Clinton. The condition and identity of the person is unknown. Newly unsealed documents are shedding light on the case of a Chicago surgeon accused of murdering his ex-wife and her husband in Ohio. Spencer and Monique Tepe were found shot and killed inside their Columbus home in late December. An affidavit reports that Monique Tepe told her friends and family that her ex-husband, 39-year-old Michael McKee, was abusive and threatened to kill her during and after their marriage of less than 2 years. According to another witness, McKee said he could kill Tepe at any time and would find her and buy the house right next to her, and that she will always be his wife. McKee is charged with multiple counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of aggravated burglary. Now, if convicted, he faces life in prison with the possibility of parole. At a Michigan horror-themed festival this weekend, the biggest scares were the scheduling issues, after dozens of vendors say they were turned away, claiming the event was overbooked. Dominique O'Neill joins us in studio now. Dom, what can you tell us?
Well, Michael, I can tell you what was supposed to be a big weekend for small businesses has turned into a major headache for some vendors. Dozens are posting online saying they've traveled hours to the Michigan Oddities and Horror Fest, paid booth fees, and even booked hotels, only to be told there was no space left when they got there. According to multiple Facebook posts, more than 20 vendors say they were unable to set up on Saturday at the Monroe County Fairgrounds Expo Center. Several claim they paid to participate, but were told there was no space left. One vendor, a Wickley company from Akron, says they arrived at 8 a.m. after traveling in from Medina, Ohio, and were disappointed, adding they've never had issues with the event before and believe too many vendors may have been booked this year. We did talk to a vendor at the show who gave their thoughts on the situation.
I do feel terrible for the vendors that did get turned away. I hope that they did find some way to get their refund back. And I know Nate has been very, very dedicated to trying to make sure that everybody gets their money back that they were intended to.
And I did text with the organizer, Nate Thompson. He did tell me that 20 to 25 vendors who they didn't have a space for will be receiving refunds. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thank you, Dom. Toledo Public Schools is set to start its series of community meetings this week, where school leaders will explain plans to transform the district. This comes after TPS announced it was facing a $68 million budget deficit and needs to make changes. Those include cuts to staffing next year, transforming some of its academic programming, and putting some expansion plans on hold. The community meeting is happening this Wednesday, the 4th, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at Woodward High School. Oregon City Council is set to talk about a controversial data center project tomorrow. Now, according to the council agenda for the meeting Monday night, city leaders say the project's developer needs 4 more parcels of land. The city has already sold 170 acres to Capacity LLC for the project. Council will also discuss requiring the developer to submit a preliminary site plan. Again, Oregon City Council meeting is set for 7 tomorrow night. And Perrysburg is sharing more on its phase 2 of its downtown revitalization project, holding a public open house this week. The city will give an update on plans and the timeline for the project, which will focus on improvements to the 100 and 200 blocks of Louisiana Avenue. The open house is this Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. inside the Give Barrel Room on West 3rd Street. Well, elegance hit West Toledo today as engaged couples got the chance to start planning their future weddings. The Stranahan housed a bridal show Sunday featuring tuxedos, bridal gowns, and accessories. Local vendors filled the room, such as florists, DJs, photographers, and caterers, giving couples a chance to meet them face to face and to start planning their big day. With Valentine's Day quickly approaching, one of the event directors, Jerry Mack, says the timing of the event was no accident.
People are in love. It's February. Come on, Valentine's Day is less than 2 weeks away. What it says is that people look for good quality service to plan their perfect day. Meeting the people you're going to be working with to plan your wedding. And this is a great opportunity to do that.
Giveaways and raffles were held throughout the event, along with live entertainment and a cash bar. There was even a robot rolling around on the floor. In Springfield, Ohio, temporary protected status ends Tuesday night for thousands of Haitian migrants. State and local officials are preparing for possible federal immigration operations. Officials say between 12 and 15,000 Haitians have sought refuge in the area. City officials are pushing for transparency and clear communication from federal agencies. Leaders warn deportations could put people in danger and disrupt the local economy.
I have no idea whether ICE is going to come into Springfield, Ohio or not. I really don't. But if they come, we will have the Ohio State Highway Patrol to back up the Springfield Police Department, to back up the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
Governor DeWine says if tensions escalate, he is prepared to deploy additional law enforcement resources to support the Springfield community. Now, anyone flying soon may have to pay. That's if you don't have a real ID or a passport. Starting today, passengers will have to pay a $45 fee to use the Transportation Security Administration's new TSA Confirm ID program. Travelers with non-compliant forms of ID must go to a TSA website, sign up, and pay the fee before they can go through security. TSA advises anyone paying this fee to prepare for an extra 15 to 30 extra minutes to get through security. Well, coming up, we're just 1 week away from the biggest football game of the season. There's one lucky 9-year-old who's going, but get this, he's gonna have to work while he's there. We'll explain what that means after the break.
And light snow showers possible tomorrow, plus watching a clipper system on Friday that'll bring us snow, breezy conditions, and a drop in temperatures. Your full 10-day forecast, that's coming up next. Welcome back in. Hope you enjoyed the sunshine today. Sure made a difference, even though it was still chilly. Not going to be seeing as much sun tomorrow, and there will be some light snowflakes flying. Now, in terms of impacts and accumulations, very minimal snow amounts are anticipated, with just the dusting to up to 1/2 of an inch. And this snow is going to be falling mainly during the morning time frame. That Arctic high to the north of us, keeping things chilly, but I am noticing some snow showers rolling into Illinois, and that is the system I have sight on as a warm front lifts in from the west. Some very, very light and scattered snow showers, not likely to cause any major delays for work and school tomorrow morning. Temperatures have hit 20 degrees in Toledo, and that's the first time since January 22nd that we have reached those highs in the 20s. A very, very light breeze out of the southwest with gusts up to about 10 miles an hour, but overall fairly still winds are expected to continue. Dry weather for the rest of the evening. A little more cloud cover is going to be moving in after dark. That warm front rolls in right around daybreak. By about 6 a.m. we start to see snow showers along the Indiana-Ohio state line. Between about 8 to 9 a.m. snow showers enter the Toledo metro, and by midday most areas are going to be dry. Temperatures not quite as cold tomorrow, likely reaching the mid to upper 20s. So how much snow can you expect? Most areas just going to be seeing around 1/2 an inch in the metro. Locations west of I-75 have a chance to pick up just a little bit more. Now, most major roadways and interstates likely just to be a little bit damp, with most of that falling on untreated surfaces as well as sidewalks and perhaps the neighborhood streets. A dusting to 1/2 an inch with light snow possible. Very little to no travel impact is expected. In the temperature department, it is going to be a cold morning. We're going to be in the teens out the door, and then into the afternoon, high temperatures will be climbing to the mid to possibly the upper 20s to the south of the Toledo metro. We do have quiet weather arriving through midweek, partly sunny skies with those temperatures steady in the 20s. And the long range outlook, we are going to be in a battleground of sorts sorts between the colder air that's going to work off towards New England, and there are some trends that some milder conditions begin to move into the upper Midwest. So by mid-February, I do think we are going to have a slight warm up that'll lift us back to the 30s. Now, as far as snow chances, it's going to be quiet midweek, but Friday we do have a 60% chance as a clipper system moves through the area. I do want to give you a first look at this low pressure system that's going to be sweeping in over the eastern Great Lakes, likely to be moving over the thumb of Michigan back towards Lake Ontario. And by Friday morning, there is the chance for some light snow, perhaps some minor accumulations. And then behind that system, it is going to get cold once again, at least for a couple of days. As that clipper departs next weekend, we drop back to the teens. However, there are some signs that we're going to inch back closer to freezing by the middle of February. Overall, a fairly quiet stretch of weather. Really, it looks like the biggest storm system to watch is going to be that clipper Friday that'll bring us snowy and breezy conditions with possible light accumulations. Michael?
All right, thank you, John. Well, turning to the world of sports, a 16-year-old has made history on the track. Sam Ruth from New Zealand has set a record for the fastest mile run by an athlete under the age of 18. He crossed the finish line in 3 minutes and 48 seconds in Boston, Massachusetts earlier today. Ruth caught the attention of the athletic world last year when he became the youngest athlete to run a sub 4-minute mile. A 9-year-old Massachusetts boy is getting to live out his dream. He's heading to the Super Bowl as a, quote, kid reporter. Now, out of 200,000 entrants, Louis DeVito was picked as the winner of Panini America's Kid Reporter Contest. Panini America is the exclusive trading company of the NFL and NFLPA. Now, Louis and his dad are headed to the Super Bowl for 9 days, and his excitement is unmatched.
Cause like it's like a once in a lifetime chance, and I'm so excited for the warm weather and like spending time with my dad and watching the Patriots play. I was also gonna ask Jake May, from one picky eater to another, what's his favorite pregame meal?
A good question indeed. Super Bowl 60 is next Sunday. The New England Patriots are taking on the Seattle Seahawks at Levi's Stadium in California. Kickoff is set for 6:30 p.m. Chase?
When we return, I'm at the Breslin Center at Michigan State University, where the Michigan women's hoops team beat Michigan State in overtime. We break down the game, plus highlight the Toledo connection, next in sports. Welcome into sports. I'm at the Breslin Center on the campus of Michigan State University, where earlier today, the Michigan women's hoops team beat Michigan State in overtime 94-91. This was the highest-ranked matchup in the rivalry's history, and of course there are Northwest Ohio connections. The 13th-ranked Michigan State team is led by former Bowling Green head coach Robin Freilich, and the leading scorer for the team is former Notre Dame Eagle Grace Van Sluten. Early in this game, Van Sluten with the ball, she's going to work. She puts up a shot, count it, plus the foul. This game was exactly the kind of back and forth you'd expect from this rivalry. We jump ahead to 1 minute to go in this game. Silas Swords decides to pull up from deep and knocks it down. Dagger three. Spartans would end up tying this game at the end of regulation, so we head to overtime. And right out of the gates in OT, Van Sluten goes to the rim, gets it to fall, first bucket of overtime. But later in OT, Olivia Olson fires from deep and knocks it down. After Van Sluten's bucket, Michigan goes on a 10-0 run in overtime and holds on to win 94-91. The Wolverines escape East Lansing with the win.
I mean, I thought it was an excellent basketball game. Two great teams, two top teams in the country, in the same state. It's pretty incredible. The rivalry is real. We watched, well, I'm still trying to catch my breath. I felt like I played defense there for an hour and a half. But we watched our men kind of be in a battle the same way the other night. And, you know, we just had to make play after play down the stretch. And I thought our kids were really able to do that. Hard fought game, but anytime you can win in the Big Ten on the road, it's really incredible, and we were able to do that tonight.
And as we mentioned, Michigan State is led in scoring by former Notre Dame Eagle Grace Van Sluten. We haven't caught up with Grace in almost 2 years, and Sunday was a great chance to watch her play. She's grown a ton as a player and a leader since transferring from Oregon to Michigan State. She still has the rest of her senior season to play, but she's also grateful for what she's accomplished and excited for what's next.
Yeah, it's been really good. You know, a lot of hard work, a lot of basketball, but it's been really good. You know, I'm really happy with my transfer here to Michigan State. You know, close to family, close to home, everything. So everything's pretty good.
And switching gears, we also caught up with another athlete recently. Eric Perriott is a former baseball player from Whiteford. He played collegiately at a few places, including Owens. He's retired now, but when he was playing, he went through a period of depression. He says he found God and decided to do something to help other athletes struggling with issues of mental health. He started the brand Internal Athletics. It includes podcast conversations with athletes and their journey with mental health. He even makes sweatshirts with his logo. But Eric says it's not about merchandise. It's about making it okay for athletes to talk about things like depression.
I was ready to give up on not only my sport, but my life too. And I was ready to give up, and I didn't. And I want to be that inspiration to teenagers and kids and college athletes that, listen, if I didn't give up, then you can't either.
That's going to do it for me from the Breslin Center. Be sure to follow WTOL 11 for all the latest in local sports news. But for now, that's all for sports.
Welcome back in. Across time, cultures, and species, animals awakening from hibernation have been an unlikely forecaster, relying upon being used to predict the weather before satellites, newscasts, and apps. For Germans that settled in Pennsylvania in the 18th and 19th century, they looked to an animal to do just that, the humble groundhog. The first official Groundhog Day dates back to 1887, when the people of Puxatawney, Pennsylvania, made their first trek to Gobbler's Knob, marking the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. Now every February 2nd, the small town welcomes thousands of visitors to see the world's most famous animal meteorologist, Puxatawney Phil. If Phil comes out of his hole and sees his shadow, he regards it as an omen of more bad weather and goes back into the burrow for 6 more weeks of sleep. But if Phil emerges on a cloudy day, he takes it as a sign of spring and stays above ground. Now, John, we got an animal meteorologist. We also have a meteorologist right next to me. Do you guys think that he has a pretty good record? Well, what are your take on that?
Yeah, I don't know if I really view Phil as competition in this regard.
In the sense where he blows you out of the water?
Yeah, sometimes he gets lucky. You know, if it was a day like today with that sunshine, he definitely would have seen his shadow. It feels like there's just been a never-ending winter, though. So for those wondering, will we see 6 more weeks of winter? We are starting to see some signs, at least that by mid-February, things are going to get back closer to normal. As that Groundhog Day forecast here at home, you're not going to be seeing any shadows. You just might see some light snowflakes flying from the sky. A dusting to just up to ½ an inch of accumulation is expected. It is going to be very quiet, still cool Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then after that, we are watching a clipper system on Friday. That one is briefly going to spike our temperatures to the low 30s, but we're going to be dropping throughout the day, and some light accumulations will be possible. Heading into next weekend, partly sunny skies, dry weather for Super Bowl Sunday here. And by the end of the forecast, could even see some rain and snow showers. And I think that by mid-February, we're going to be slowly adding in some 30s into the forecast. So light at the end of the tunnel. We'll see what the groundhog has to say about that.
You know it's been cold when we're calling 30s warm.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll see you again at 11. Take care.
Tracking light snow showers in your Monday forecast, very minor accumulations of a dusting up to ½ an inch. I'm going to break down the timing and impacts coming up in your forecast tonight.